I always thought it would be cool if you could go back and listen to the day-to-day of today's highest achievers as it happened, as opposed to 30 years later after they've made it. I believe there's a giant disconnect between ground zero and the top floor because we only see the top floor and the top floor only talks about the top. You know, how valuable would that be? And so it goes without saying, but I believe I'll make it there. And this is the documented journey through each level. My name is Bryson Sessions, and you are listening to the Bed Podcast. Okay, so I'm going to test something out. I'm going to record this whole show with just being in my closet, but I put my phone in the hood of a hoodie that's hung up right now in between two other shirts. So this is the sound quality. And honestly, for no other reason than to just for the history books, to record a whole show with no effects, nothing, just my phone in my closet with clothes, just to show you kind of what it sounds like and that you can absolutely start a high quality. I wouldn't say high quality, but a good quality podcast with absolutely zero equipment. All you need is a closet. So whole show is being filmed just like this. So anyway, so I can't remember the exact train of thought that I was on when I had this, but the conclusion that I came to was like, I'm going to have such gratitude and like humility in the future when I look back and see all these days of the long days, the hard nights, whatever, just back to back to back to back. Because it's so poetic when somebody who's made it to wherever they're at says, oh, I never took a day off. I always did this and I worked so hard. I worked 20-hour days. Like, we all hear that. And I think this might be out there, but I think that's just so true for most everybody who's made it, that we just hear that and it's just, we hear it, but we don't really absorb it. It's like we hear it so often that we're just so used to hearing like, oh, I had to work 20 hours. We're just so used to hearing that we don't even really comprehend what it actually means. And that's just my take. But everybody says that, like, I had to work all this time. I had to do this much work. I had to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, for me personally, being in like the very, 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 very early stages of the early stages, I can say that, yeah, that's 100% true, but I don't think I want it to be, and this is another train of thought here. I don't know if I'd want it to be easier, because if it were easier, then I wouldn't appreciate it at the end as much. I mean, when I take a warm shower, I don't think anything of it. I mean, I got in water and I got out of the water. When I take an ice bath, it's like, fuck yeah, dude, I did that because it was brutal. It was really hard for me. So compare that to the whole lifespan of your accomplishments. If it was cakewalk the whole time and everything was handed to you, you never had to work hard, and you never had to, work 3 jobs for fuck's sake to save money for your first business that you weren't even sure it was going to work. You just wanted the experience. So I had that whole train of thought, and like I envision myself sometimes like I'm on a guest of another podcast, and they're asking me like how I did it, and I have to tell them how I did it. And like sometimes that gives me motivation to keep going, because it's like, cool, dude, I get kind of the spotlight and I get to share my experience. And it's different if you're talking about your achievements kind of because you want to, versus when somebody asks. Like if I walked into Walmart and I was like, yo, what's up, guys? So I did this and this, and I own this and this, and I make this much and blah, blah, blah. It's probably like, cool, bro. Who gives a fuck? But if you are sitting at a dinner table or whatever, and someone's like, oh, hey, Bryson, so what's that thing that you're doing? It's like different, because it's like, oh, they asked, I'm going to tell them. So anyway, I think about that, and that kind of gives me a little bit of boost to want to keep going, because I would love the moment where I'm on a podcast with somebody else. Hopefully someday it's with Andy Frisella or Chris Williamson, or I don't know, that stuff's cool to me. So hopefully one day I'm on a show like that and they're like, oh, so you got this thing, how'd you get there? And it's like, dude, well, I worked 3 jobs and I didn't really have days off, and I only had about 4 hours per day to work on stuff, and that was at the very end of the day when I was fucking gassed. So I don't know, it's just what I had to do. And so when I think about it in that context, it's like, yeah, I'm glad it is the way it is now, because the story later is going to be fucking cool. It's going to be one hell of a story. And that gives me kind of the reinforcement to keep doing what I'm doing. So yes, it's fucking brutal right now, and I'm not even doing anything yet, but at least that's how it feels. but I'm going to talk about that and talk about more of that in just a sec. Matter of fact, I'll talk about it right now. Hold on, in just a sec. So that was the first thing I wanted to share. That was the first train of thought, which was, I'm glad that it's hard, because if it wasn't hard, for one, it's so cliche to say, but if it wasn't hard, then everybody would be able to do it, and then the value of that thing would go down. Therefore, you wouldn't want to achieve it. Therefore, it's not worth pursuing. So the very fact that it is hard makes it worth pursuing. And I sound like Alex Hormozi now. Holy shit. But I mean, it makes sense, you know? That's why Lamborghinis are so rare. And that's why they're also so fucking worth it. And I'm not even a car guy, don't know shit, but it looks cool. Nobody has them. But that just screams like, hey, I'm a successful motherfucker. And yeah, I just think they look cool also. So anyway, other thought that I had was, when I first started podcasting, the very first show, I think I sat there for like 10 straight minutes, just in paralysis, just like, what do I say? I don't even know what to talk about, you know? And I spent the first however long it was, I don't know, maybe 80 episodes, 100 episodes, I really don't know, maybe 100 episodes, 100 days in a row, where I just was so anxious to click record because I had no idea what I was going to say or how I was going to word it or whatever. But now, like, I just don't even think about it. I just click record. I'm like, hey, here we go. You know, like I think of something I want to talk about, and then I kind of just figure it out on the way. I'm not saying I'm the best by any means, but I am saying that I have made so much progress in the last 229 days. Hold on, I bet you my voice sounds better if it's over here, because it's not echoing, huh? What about if I'm over here? Probably muffled over here. Whatever. So, yeah, I mean, the last, what was it, 7 months now? 7.5 months of podcasting? Yeah. Because I remember there was times where I just had no idea, because like the thought of people hearing me and the thought of like messing up what I was going to say or whatever, just maybe not want to record. And now I'm just tapping record and I'm just going. And I've actually recorded a show twice in front of somebody. So that's a win, because I actually would have such negative thoughts of like, dude, I could never get married because that means I'd have to like do things in front of them, and I can't do that. But now it's like, well, I have proof now that I can record a podcast in front of another human being. So if I can do that, what else can I do? But anyway, that's too far off track. What I'm trying to get at is the fact that when I first started, I was just absolutely crippled at the thought of talking into a microphone and having anybody hear me, or screwing up what I was going to say, or saying something wrong, or saying bad words and then having people cancel me or whatever the fuck. But now I kind of just go, and it's nice. It's therapeutic for me to talk and to just get it out, because whoever's listening, you're listening because you want to listen. Nobody's forcing you to. So therefore, the topics that I am talking about have some sort of you have some sort of interest in them, which means that I'm talking to somebody who gives some kind of shit about what I'm saying, which makes me feel like the words that I'm saying actually matter, and I'm not just talking into a brick wall or saying something, or for example, saying all this to somebody on the phone and then they hit me with a, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's like, dude, that happens often. That's why I don't really. So I've got a lot in common with people. So when I talk about stuff like this with people, I really do get the, yeah, okay, cool, nice, okay. Well, that'll be fun. Nice. I'm excited for it, you know. It's like, are you though? Because I don't think you heard a word I just said. But anyway, again, that's too far off track. But yeah, so I think about, so the reason why I say all that is like me making progress is like, I oftentimes feel like I'm not making progress at all. But when I look back, and I've talked about this so many times, but when I look back, it's like, oh yeah, I am making progress. But then when you measure things like this, it just makes it so much more real. It's like this was not even a year ago. This wasn't even 8 months ago that I was doing the podcast and kind of feeling very anxious and stuff. And now that I live on my own again, I don't have to worry about anybody hearing me. But even then, it's like, I think this is building so much confidence within me that even if I did have a living room full of people, I probably still could muster up the courage to do it. And that sounds silly to say, but it's just growth, and I'm proud of that. So I can't remember what the other thing I wanted to talk about was. I think that's it. Yeah, no, that's it. So I just wanted to share the fact that I made a little bit of progress as far as confidence goes in the podcasting realm and just talking. And then sharing the fact that because it is hard and difficult, it makes it worth doing. Because if it were easy, then everybody would do it. I mean, look at the cars that people drive. No, I'm not even talking shit. I don't drive the nicest car either. But people drive those cars because they're affordable and they're easily accessible to everybody. They don't have to do this or that to get them. So therefore, everybody has one. But how often do you see a Ferrari or a Lambo or a McLaren? Or that's all I care about. So how often do you see those? Rarely ever. I mean, I guess depending on where you live, but I live in Utah, so I see those the same amount of times that I see. I'm not going to make a bad joke. Never mind. That would cancel. That would get me canceled. So anyway, yeah, so just wanted to share that. And I think what sparked all this right now, and I'm just going on a tangent because I'm trying to capture everything, but got off work, came home, ice bath immediately, got out of that. I felt like a baller because I just didn't even think about it. There's no distractions, just got in, got out, dried off. Now I'm dressed, ready to hit the gym. And it's 3:14 p.m., June 4th. Yeah, June 4th, 3:14 p.m. It is Tuesday. And anyway, and I've just got some momentum rolling. And that's another thing I thought of. Fuck, I'm going to share more, I guess. Which was when I just get the hard stuff done and I just start moving and then I get the things done. Not like I'm in a rush, but I get them done, I guess, efficiently. It just opens up my day to be so much more productive, I think, so that I get more done and I have a more clear state of mind. It's like, for example, this podcast is now done. So I'm gonna end this. I'll probably write about it or chip away at it while I walk to the gym. And then maybe in between sets. I really try to stay off my phone at the gym, but I don't know. Anyway, mixed stance. But then I'm going to come home from the gym, and then I'm going to have probably from 4:30-ish to 8:30-ish to work on anything that I want to work on. And that's so fucking exciting to me. As opposed to, like, for example, on the weekends, it seems like it's just rough for me. So I wake up, I go to work, come home, and it's usually, lately it's been like 5 o'clock, which sucks. Because I'll finish my last stop around, 4 o'clock, and then it's a half-hour drive to the terminal. I got to sign out, empty my truck, blah, 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 all that bullshit, and then get my car, drive home another half hour because of traffic. And then by the time I get home and whatever, that's 5:15-ish. And so 5:15-ish to however long I have for it just sucks. It's just kind of, okay. All I'm trying to say with that is I don't have like the 4 hours. Like I can't bank on the fact that I've got 4 hours to work on my stuff. So it's kind of like a guessing game. So when I do everything that I'm supposed to and I come to the end of the day and it's like, oh, I only got 45 minutes. That fucking sucks. I think that gets me upset. So, yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to the gym now. I'm going to come home and I'm going to have 4 hours to work on stuff. Like, what? You can get a lot done in 4 hours, dude. What should I do? And a quick update on the whole workout, the monthly workout subscription. So I'm looking at that software again, and it's just looking, it's just not practical if I'm going to scale it out and not scale it out. If I'm going to, I guess, stick with it long term. And the whole reason why I don't want to do that is because somebody could log all their progress on there. And if I decide to jump ship and go to a different thing or just bail on it entirely, then they lose all their progress. And I don't want to do that to somebody. So I think for the time being, we're just going to keep it super simple. And we're just going to roll with goddamn PDFs on a weekly or monthly email basis. And we'll go from there. And they'll all just be PDFs and all look nice. But I really don't know. None of this is for the sake of making money. It's for the sake of putting a product out there, getting feedback from the market, seeing what people like, what people don't like, and then actually just learning the system. So, yeah, that's that. So anyway, that's the little update on that. Also, one more update. I'm getting my sample tomorrow, according to UPS. So the third sample of the pre-workout is being delivered tomorrow. And the only things that were changed in that one were adding hints of coconut and pineapple natural flavor into the mix. So first revision was way too tart. It was way too bitter. Second one was fine, but I'm just not sure I want to rock with that flavor. So that's why this third time I added coconut and pineapple, and we're going to see how it tastes. But this is the last free revision that I get with this sample. So what I'm going to do is change the ingredients a little bit based on what I would like to change, and then roll with a different flavor. So I think what I'll do is I'll roll with fruit punch, a natural flavor, next time. So I don't know when that is. Kind of sucks because it's $300 for a sample. But the way I look at it is like I'm just kind of paying double price for a pre-workout, and even a little bit less. Because if you say a pre-workout that has 30 servings in today's market is $60, then 3 of those would be $180. But if I'm paying $300 for 3, then it's just quite a markup. But I don't know, it's just how I look at it. I'm going to buy them anyway. So anyway, that's how that works with the supplement manufacturer that I'm emailing back and forth and working with. So that's that. So that'll be here tomorrow. I'm pretty hyped about that. I also have, what else I got going? So we got Bobby in the background. What's up, Bobby? You heard him. Anyway, that's the show. Just a little update on a whole bunch of stuff and just sharing thoughts. And yeah, so yeah, the first half of the show was recorded in the closet. The second half was recorded in my bedroom with Bobby in the background. And Bobby's just a guy swimming, and he's a kid, so whatever. First feature, little kid. Anyway, that's the show. Peace out. Thank you guys for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening, and quick reminder here. So this podcast doesn't prioritize professionalism or quality at all. It's just meant to be a shoot from the hip type podcast with the intent just to get a quick message out. So some episodes might be inaudible in 30 seconds, and others might be 45 minutes and super crisp sounding. So all these are being made so that by episode 7,305, which is 20 years, we can come back and see the entire playbook of how I made it to wherever I'm going. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.